on the Porsche Club Straight, the main straight. The lights are on. The lights are on. The lights are on. The lights are on. Listen to that thunderation heading down into turn number one, into Holzoek, and it's Sean Moore. There's somebody gone. Somebody's gone onto the dirt. It looks like he might rejoin. It's a whole bottleneck effect at the back of the field. But it's all about Sean Moore and P1.
Row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5 was very close as well. And you could see that they were super duper keen to get off the line. And once they got down to the braking mark as well, it's very unlikely everybody's going to get through there.
As they make their way down that back straight. And wow, it's going to be something amazing down the back main they go. Listen to that thunderation. That is heading down into turn 5, into Fostron. Yeah, they come out of Fostron corner towards the Mad Max Briggs. It's Sean Moore. That still sits out there in P1. He's got in there behind him Angel, behind Angel. And he's chasing up Hudson, Ridgeway. He's there in that fourth position. That's his first motor cars that worked their way, the first four out of turn number 1 out of Holzoek. Marcel Angel on the hunt there in that second place. They're busy getting away from Mark Ridgeway, who's now got his nose ahead there of Jason Ibotsum. Then behind them it's a 64, and that is Carl Nell. Jaco Warrington, he's in there as well. Then the 4 of Richard Schroeder, and Schroeder looks up on the inside and makes a move stick there on Rob Warrington as they exit turn number 5.
Well, we did see that there was dust there, so probably picked up. That's probably from Alistair Brown going back onto the circuit after the spin, and that's what caused that incident.
Sorry, Gary, new leader coming out of turn number 2. Moore ran very hot into turn 2, and he lost that lead there to Marcel Angel heading into turn number 3. Out of Interceptor corner, Marcel Angel sits now in P1.
It's Marcel Angel, the Autohouse Angel cars. Using the curbstones and more. They pulling him away from the man that's got himself up.
Look at that! Richard Schroeder, my goodness gracious. How the heck he managed to hang on to that one coming out of turn number 4. He was all over the place, Gary. Wow. And parts of that car went flying as well.
And he didn't offload off the gas. As he came back onto the track, you could see the dust pouring out of the window of the car. So he was sitting in a dust bucket. Side by side down towards turn number 1. It's Angel and Moore. Who's going to be the last of the race breakers? Angel is going to be the man on the move, and he gets back to the front. It's Sean Moore in that second position. It's Mark Ridgeway in the gold class third on track.
Yes, here he comes. Here comes a 73 up on the inside. They are side by side. Moore on the inside, Angel on the outside, and boom, into the lead goes the 73 of Sean Moore.
With 6 to go, it's not over yet. Sean Moore from pole position down to second, back up to first. Marcel Angel, ex-world karting champion. He's right in there with him. He's picked up the slipstream. He follows him right up against the wall. But I must say, Sean Moore is putting up some very quick times. In fact, the fastest lap so far, Sean Moore. And that was on lap number 3, a 1:17. He spins out! He spins out! Can you believe it?
Down the back straight goes Sean Moore in that 73 for the final time. He's got a slower car in front of him as he heads into Fostron for the last time. The checkered flag will be coming out for him, as it could be Brooks that's gone off there, as the checkered flag beckons for this man coming towards the checkered flag. Number 73, Sean Moore, weaves down the home straight and takes the checkered flag and takes victory in V8 Masters Race 1. The lights will go off. Now they drop the hammers, and there goes that rolling thunder down the main straight into turn number 1. It's Iverson on his outside. We have got Carl Nell. Here come the 5 supercars heading into turn 1 as well. But up front, Carl Nell's losing a couple of positions there. There's Rob Warrington, Ian Kaplan. Locking up there is Sean Moore. He tries around the outside there of Carl Nell. Nell stays in 4th. Moore stays in 5th position. But at this stage of the game, it is all about the man up front. It is Jason Ibotsum that is making his way out of turn 3, out of Interceptor corner. He's got Mark Ridgeway right on his case there as they head towards turn number 4, and right behind them is the 22 of Alistair Brown.
Brown started on the 3rd row of the grid, and he's worked his way from 6th right up to that 3rd position. Goes for the outside line, and he gets held out there. Alistair Brown from 6th up to 3rd, not going to give that one away as they go through Pertamina Fastron. do that complete 180 degree, and oh, somebody's gone off. It could be Richard Schroeder. It looked like a silver roof.
These are Ford Mustangs roll down into a turn number 3. Interceptor corner. It's Iverson from Ridgeway, from Moore, from Brown. That's at first 4 as they work their way into turn number 4. Out of Malmesbury sweep, turn 4. Down the back lane they go. Nothing separating these 4 cars as they work their way down the back lane. Then chasing them down is Colnell and the 77 of Rob Warrington, and here comes Menno Parsons in the 69. He's joining them as well.
Menno Parsons, the first of the silver class cars that's in there. Remember, Carl Nell started on the front row of the grid. He's got himself down to 4th position, 5th position now, but he's right in there. Oh, look at this one. Sean Moore is going for the front. Iverson on the inside line, and looking left and right, the 73 car. He says, come on guys, Iverson, what are you doing, buddy? You can't go side by side. No way. The big boys are on their way, and going through with them is Alistair Brown as well. Brown's come to play. He said, well, if they side by side and holding one another up, let me make this a 4-way battle.
And Menno Parsons has got his nose ahead of Rob Warrington as a lot of them work their way out of turn number 2. Alistair Brown going very wide there in turn 2. This will give Carl Nell opportunity, but Brown fights back. Brown holds that 4th position there ahead of Carl Nell. Menno Parsons is right in there with them, and they're all ahead there of the 77 of Rob Warrington as these V8s work their way up the Tygerberg Straight into turn number 4. Out of turn 4 they go. What a lovely sight to see 16, in this case 15, thundering V8s work their way down Killarney back straight. It is up front, it is Mark Ridgeway. Ridgeway down the back lane. Here comes Jason Iverson. They are sitting side by side, Gary, as they head into turn number 5.
Yep, there's a very good fight up front there, and well, let's see what happens with this one. It can go in any direction. It was a 2-way, it was a 3-way, it was a 4. Now 1, 2, 3 all together. Small gap, 4, 5, 6. Small gap, 7th place. It's on in the gold class at the front of the field.
Well, we just found out that that 69 car that on the program says Menno Parsons is actually Fabio Tafani. So Fabio Tafani from Gauteng is out on track. He has joined us. So lovely to see him.
It wasn't him in the first race. It was Menno Parsons in the Menno Parsons car for round number 1. Maybe just saying, look, I've had my fun out there. You come all the way down from Joey's. Take my car, go and have some fun.
Moore has a look. Moore has a look up on the inside. Will Sean Moore move up into that 2nd position? Yes, he does. And coming through with him as well is Fabio Tafani.
Tafani, the man that we're accustomed to seeing up front, doing a brilliant job. I would tend to think that the transponder readings are correct, and we will go with what we see on our screen and accept that that is the way it is. Talking about the way it is, it's gone down to a 3-way battle now, and Sean Moore is the man that's deciding what the pace is going to be up front out of Pertamina Fastron underneath the Killarney and Wingfield Motors Bridge. Here he comes through now. Sean Moore doing a lovely job out there. I tell you what, he's doing everything that he can to stay ahead of Ridgeway. Ridgeway within a half a second of him, and Tafani in that borrowed motor car finds himself now ahead of Ridgeway up into 2nd.
Well, it shows you put Fabio Tafani in any motor car, he'll do well. He's now in that 2nd position as they head out of turn number 2, chasing down the leader, Sean Moore. Moore sits out there in P1 through the kink, running towards turn 3, interceptor corner. It's Moore from Tafani. Ridgeway was leading for a short while. He sits down in that 3rd position.
And then behind that is Brooks and Iverson. Now, Iverson started on the front row of the grid. He did exceptionally well in heat number 1 with the Autohouse Angels sponsored livery on his car. This one hasn't gone as well for him, and he finds himself dropping down to that 8th position, although very close to the back of Mike Brooks.
That's Fabio Tafani from Sean Moore. Those are your 2 leaders heading down the back straight towards turn 5, Fastron corner for the final time. The checkered flag has been readied for them as they work their way out of a turn number 5, Fastron heading towards a checkered flag, and victory will go to Fabio Tafani as he brings it home in P1. Right on his heels in 2nd position is Sean Moore. the lights on pit lane are off. And we're going to have some serious V8 action and thunderation as the lights go off and away we go. On the loud pedal as they storm down into turn number 1. Running down into turn 1, making their way out of Holzhoek. And the whole shot there will go to Sean Moore. Sean Moore has got Fabio Tafani right on his case, followed there by Alistair Brown in that third position. Right behind him is Marcel Angel. Then it's Richard Schroeder. That 64 is Carl Nell. He's the leader of the silver class. Behind Carl Nell is Mark Ridgway. That's at first group of cars beginning to break away already, Byram, through the kink and heading into turn 3, Interceptor corner.
Well, they go through Interceptor corner now, and Sean Moore already there under the big pressure from Fabio Tafani behind him. Angel getting jumped off the start over there as well by that red Alistair Brown APV. Now they come through the double apex right-hander, and then now down the back straight as they go. Tafani, the number 1 car, will be in the slipstream of Sean Moore ahead of him. Will he make some sort of a move? He looked on the outside of Pertamina Fastron, but not going to make the move quite yet. Not close enough, I'll tell you that much, as Marcel Angel on the screens will look around us as well, having a heady battle over here with Alistair Brown, but that's now welcoming everybody else like Schroeder and Nell and Ridgway all to the party.
Well, lap number 1 is in the bag as they storm underneath the Winkle Motors and City of Cape Town Bridge. Heading into turn number 1, into Holzhoek. They go, each and every single one of them have now completed the opening lap. There's a bit of a lock-up coming out of turn 1, and that was Carl Nell. Carl Nell has gone wide at the exit of turn 1 on the outside. He regains the circuit, and he gets overtaken there by Menno Parsons. Working the way down the back main as Tafani got the slip on him. Yes, he's got the slipstream on him going down into turn 5. Through turn 5 they go, but Sean Moore has done enough to hold him out. But it is hectic stuff out there. Pressure heavily there from Fabio Tafani on race leader Sean Moore as they make their way across the start finish line, heading into turn number 1. They are followed there by Marcel Angel, by Alistair Brown, by Richard Schroeder.
Yeah, Parsons is currently leading the silver class, Frankie, ahead of Nell, 1 second ahead of Nell. And I see a little bit of jostling going on over here as well into turn 2 section. You'll see that it is Marcel Angel that took 3rd place. Alistair Brown under immense pressure. Alistair Brown over there as well. Schroeder, somebody's in the wall. Is that Moore?
Oh, there's another spinner there.
Oh, it's a number of...
it's massive chaos out there.
We're going to be roaring now once more as they go under the Wingfield Motors City of Cape Town Bridge. And away we go. So Tafani should lead them into turn 1 on his outside. A little bit further back will be Marcel Angel. Then will be Alistair Brown in 3rd position.
Fabio Tafani making his way under the bridge and over the start-finish line to start another lap. But they are racked and stacked and packed behind him. It is Richard Schroeder right on his case there. He's Carl Nell. Carl Nell locks up, and I knew this was going to happen. Wow, he dived right in front there of Marcel Angel. Did Carl Nell and almost took himself and Angel out, and right there with him now heading towards turn 2 is the 53 of Mark Ridgway.
Amazing racing here, Frankie.
Oh, and Ridgway turns it around.
Yeah, just the straight now, and Pertamina Fastron before getting onto the home straight. When they crossed the line, Tafani was 1.9 seconds ahead of Schroeder. Schroeder has been taking large chunks of time out of Tafani, but I feel that Tafani is just taking it easy. He doesn't need to push it too hard. He's got the fastest lap of the race, but you don't get any extra points for that. So here comes Tafani now, crossing the line to take victory ahead of Richard Schroeder.
Look, a win's always good. I'll always take a win. These cars are awesome, you know. I think professional racing drivers in this country should try these cars. They're amazing. There's no driver aids. You've got to do it all yourself. Well, I better keep that hammer going, okay?
Yeah, listen, 1 complete lap and that's pretty much the game. Pole was an incredible achievement yesterday. My car is beyond repair. Keep it focused. Don't be too nervous. Kudos to the car.
So yeah, they come up towards us. Greg Dreyer sits on the outside of Menno Parsons. They wait there across the line, wait for lights. Menno Parsons gets his hammer down. Off he goes. Makes his way down towards turn number 1. Dreyer sitting around the outside, trying to go around the outside of Menno Parsons. Parsons up on the inside. Cole Nell's in there. Dreyer has the line, the outside line, and has got the inside track there. There's a spinner on the far. 2 spinners going down into turn number 1. And 3 cars down. Interceptor corner. Dreyer up on the inside of Menno Parsons. He sticks his nose up and decides to take the lead. Greg Dreyer using a little bit of the old bike tactic as he works his way up towards turn number 4. Double right-hander. And want to get the hammer down as he makes his way down towards turn number 5.
Dreyer sits out there in P1. Parsons is there in that second position. He's been hassled there by Carl Nell, by Fabio Tafani, Richard Schroeder. Now then Kaplan comes through. So Kaplan was not the third of those cars that was in trouble out there in turn number 1. Oh, and there's trouble out there once again. That spun it around. It could be Alistair Brown that's in trouble there, Francois, in turn 1 in Holzhoek.
Frankie, I think that front car, though it's the 46, I think Marcel Angel's piloting that car, not Greg Dreyer.
Probably, yes.
I don't want to take anything away from him because all the indications are that Marcel Angel's leading out. Well, coming out in Interceptor corner, Fabio Tafani was right up the back end of Marcel Angel, exiting Quarry corner. When he put his foot down, a little plume of smoke came out the back end of that exhaust, so let's hope that much is okay. As they work their way down the back straight, Angel trying to maintain that lead. Angel and Tafani. Will Tafani draft him and step out down into turn 5? We'll have to wait and see here. Tafani looks up on the inside. Tafani on the inside, but we have the wily Marcel Angel. Dives across his bow. Tafani holds up on the inside, but then has to slot in there behind Marcel Angel.
Heading down towards 5. That is Pertamina Fastron, and Angel pulling away there from Fabio Tafani. In turn, down the back main as well, Richard Schroeder. He's all over the back there of Carl Nell in that fight, going down the back main towards Pertamina Fastron. And they are being joined there by Menno Parsons and by Rob Warrington. Marcel Angel comes home in P1. He will finish this one now.
Good morning, how you doing? Good. We're busy developing what we call a GD3 tyre, which the rest of the world race on. Perfect opportunity for Pirelli to get involved with V8 Masters. I mean, there's 19 cars on the grid. We have a 3-year deal, but also a nice cash injection into the series, just to ensure the survival of the series. We're just as delighted to be involved as what V8 Masters are to have us.
As they make their way towards the City of Cape Town Bridge, and now Fabio Tafani will be the man that controls it. Under the bridge they come now. The lights are on. The lights go off. And these 15 APV Ford Mustangs drop the hammer. The silver and gold classes down into turn number 1. There's major lockups already. Who's all on? They all are making their way out of turn 1. Rob Warrington had a problem with that 77. He also locked up, and he's dropped all the way down to 2/3. To the back end of the field. As a matter of fact, no, he's actually gone up to about halfway.
He will keep the lead, Fabio Tafani, from Sean Moore. Mark Ridgway was the man who started in 3rd position. We'll see them as they come around onto the line now underneath the bridge, and the gap between the two of them is, of course, going to be 2/10 of a second. Mark Ridgway still in 3rd position now, currently holding up the 4th position ahead of Barry Ingle.
The 3 of them are virtually with each other. Now it's Ingle into turn 4. That looks up on the inside there of Carl Nell as they exit at turn 4. And while the 3 of them are fighting with each other, Campos is also in there now. Campos has having a look up on the inside and into turn 3 Interceptor corner. You can see there that Sean Moore is now the man that sits out there in P1. And Tafani will not like the fact that he's lost that lead there to the 73 of Sean Moore. Here comes the number 1 sitting in P2, Fabio Tafani, having a look up there on the inside as they go into turn 5 Fastron of Moore. They side by side, and it's Tafani that sneaks through ahead there of Moore. But Byron, it's still pretty much game on under the City of Cape Town Bridge, and they are side by side.
Well, they're side by side. The corner advantage will go to Tafani, but I think what happens is they break now for turn 1, for Holzhoek. They will be side by side, but just inching it ahead will be Fabio Tafani.
Heading down the back straight towards turn 5 Fastron corner. In 3rd position, it's a lonely Mark Ridgway, and then Carl Nell and Roy Campos is having a lovely fight going down into turn number 5 Fastron. But the checkered flag is out, And Fabio Tafani will bring the one car home in P1. That roll to the set of Cape Town Bridge. This is going to be absolutely awesome. Look at this picture rolling down towards us as the lights go off and off they go. The hammers get dropped. There's already body work on the circuit. Contact has been made there, and the marshals will have to try and recover all that before they get back to the end of the opening lap. But as they work throughout turn number 1, up front it is it's Barry Ingle. Barry Ingle that leads going down into turn number 2. Right behind Barry Ingle is Carl Nell to make its way towards us. Where if you're sitting out there in turn 3, you'll hear them when they drop the hammers. And away they go. The hammers get dropped, and it's now hammer time as they run it down into turn number 1. Into Holzoek they go now. They are side by side coming out Holzoek very neatly, very nicely indeed. And it's Sean Moore from Fabio Tafani. They are sitting in P1 and 2. Then it's Ibbotson. Right behind him is Alistair Brown, and storming through the field there in a big lockup. That's Menno Parsons. Surely that's not going to work for Menno Parsons, and it doesn't.
Mark Ridgway dropping down 2 positions initially, smoking the brakes as he went down into turn number 1, drifted it very wide, almost took Fabio Tafani with him, and that brought Jason Ibbotson and Alistair Brown into play. Out into the back main they go now, and well, it looks pretty good for Sean Moore right now. He's ahead of the 70 of Fabio Tafani. Now that's not Fabio's normal car that he races with. It's completely different colors, and there's a different name on that motor car as well. The 2 of them have broken away from the rest of the pack. It looks like Jason Ibbotson is the next man that's in there.
Right, here they come down towards us. Lap number 1 is in the bag. There is 7 more laps to go as they run it down into turn number 1. They've got a challenge for the lead. We have got a challenge for the lead. Do we have a new leader? Yes, we do. Fabio Tafani's got his... No, there's contact. There was rubbing there between Tafani and Moore. Sean Moore will have none of this. Fabio Tafani will have none of this. It's game on now between Moore and Tafani. Tafani goes wide. He leaves the door open here for Sean Moore. Through the kink they go towards turn 3, side by side, and eventually it is Sean Moore that muscles his way back into the lead as they work their way out of turn 3, out of interceptor corner, up the hill towards turn 4. He's the fastest man out there, but there's a lovely fight going into turn 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it is Ibbotson that leads him out there from Mark Ridgway. Behind Mark Ridgway is Alistair Brown, followed there by Roy Campos. Right behind him is Rob Warrington.
Ibbotson doing a brilliant job. Ridgway that had dropped down behind him is now having to have a look around the outside. Can you go 2 by 2? Well, that's just showing the boys that backed off going through the early on. Sean Moore and Fabio Tafani weren't prepared to do it. Well, Mark Ridgway was prepared to do it with Jason Ibbotson. Jason did not back out, climbed it over the curbs. It slowed both of them down, and that's brought Rui Campos from the back of the pack up to 6th now, a little bit closer, and he brings with him Rob Warrington as well.
As they head into turn number 5 into Fostron with Mike Brooks right in there as well. And then behind them it's Stuart Spooner.
The leading silver class car, Jason Ibbotson.
Ibbotson gets it wrong. He came out of turn 2 very, very wrong. And the Campos transport man, Roy Campos, says thank you very much as they head into turn 3 interceptor corner. And he gets his nose ahead there of Ibbotson. And now he's going after Mark Ridgway.
As we go back to our leaders as they work. Whoa, heavy lock-up by Campos down into turn 5. And he runs it off the outside of the circuit. So having come from the back of the pack, Campos takes the car and battles to get it back on track. He gets it completely sideways on the dirt and the dust. Oh, Sean Moore goes wide again. Fabio Tafani, Frankie, as I said earlier on, has not had another go yet at Sean Moore. Sean was hell-bent on staying at the front of the pack. I think Fabio Tafani hoping that he'll make some other form of mistake. Well, he hasn't made any mistakes whatsoever. He's done a 16 flat. The last lap, in fact, it was 0.6 of a second. Fabio Tafani closed up on the back of Sean Moore. Last gasp effort down into Cape Town corner, and while we were expecting Fabio Tafani to have a look once more, and it's exactly what he did do. They come out, it's nose to tail as they come out towards us now. Sean Moore, Fabio Tafani. Sean Moore is going to get the win there from Fabio Tafani.
So they're the big boys. After 5 years, it's still scary. No traction control, no ABS, no power steering. They're wild. Old-fashioned, Ton of horsepower and not much else.
Yeah, the Pirellis are definitely quicker than our previous tyres. They take a couple of laps more to go live.
Interestingly, setup doesn't change. We tweak the camber and the grip is incredible.
But when you see the really fast guys at the front, they really are not at the edge, they're pretty much over there.
Talking about fast, Rob. For me, I'm deeply average.
Well, they're very, very closely bunched up at this stage of the fight. Can Rui Campos get that whole shot? On the accelerator and down towards turn number 1 they're going. It looks like the Autohaus Angel car that's in the hands of Jason Ibbotson. If I look at that livery from here, we'll check it out when it comes back, but I do believe that is the vehicle. Rui Campos gets a whole shot. It's Alistair Brown, but up alongside him, that is the Ibbotson entry. In there behind that is Mark Ridgway. Having a look on that outside line is Sean Moore, locking up pretty heavily further back. I think that was Thompson in the 17 cars. They worked their way out through the kink.
Now, there was a 17 of Gary Thompson that locked up heavily there going into turn number 2. However, this entire gold and silver class, V8 Masters, APV Ford Mustangs working their way out of Interceptor Corner, up the Tygerberg Straight, into turn 4, Malmesbury. Now, it's all she's got down the Killarney back straight towards Fostron, and Roy Campos sits up front there with Alistair Brown in that second position. Then it is Jason Ibbotson that is there in that third position, and he's been hassled there by 3 other cars.
Oh,
and Ibbotson is gone. Jason has spun it there in turn 5, Fostron Corner. Down the main straight, the Porsche Club Straight. Lights are on. Lights are on. Away they go as they storm down into turn number 1. All holding lovely station through turn number 1. Then it's Campos that comes out there up front. Ibbotson is right in there behind him. Alistair Brown. That's going to drop down into that third position.
Brown's out.
Brown's gone. Brown is gone. He's right up against the wall. He spun it out towards the inside of the circuit, and he's way off the track. He spins himself around and says, I'm going to continue.
Started off together. It's Alistair that's lost out. The front 3, Rui Campos, Jason Ibbotson, Mark Ridgway. Fabio Tofani finds himself now in that 4th position, but that's not the car that he normally rides with, to the best of my knowledge. And it's not going to be a full house of points for him today. We're accustomed to seeing Fabio Tofani always at the front end of the field. 7 laps to go. Campos in pole position, leads out after 1 lap.
Out of turn number 1 they come, working their way down onto the Jabez Straight, racing up now towards turn 2. And Roy Campos has got a decent lead there with Mark Ridgway in that 2nd position, followed there by Fabio Tofani. Right on his heels is Sean Moore, followed there by Jason Ibbotson. That's that first group of 5 cars that's working their way through the kink.
But I see there's a car standing on the exit of turn 3 as well. We'll pick up who that is. So down into Pertamina Fastron, Cape Town Corner, they go pretty much side by side as they work their way out. Is it still Campos in the lead? Nope, that is not an orange motor car that's leading out whatsoever. Campos has got a lot of competition in this one. The front group of 4 has broken from everybody else. It's Ridgway that's gone ahead of Rui Campos. Fabio Tofani in 3rd, Sean Moore in there behind him. That's the front 4. Then Jason Ibbotson having made that error as they came out of turn 3 and kicking up a lot of dust. What else can go wrong? I suppose I must.
Great qualifying yesterday. First time 8 guys all qualified in the 16s.
Yeah.
The top 3 are covered by 0.1 of a second.
Oh.
By Menno Parsons, I think, qualified 16.8, so one of his best times.
Sure.
Some of the V8 guys are still in bed, I guarantee it.
Jason Ibbotson, though, our national competitor.
I think he was out there yesterday, he did 16.7, took his foot off the gas and thought, well, that must be good for 3rd or 4th, and he ended up 7th.
Our V8 Rolling Thunder as all these Ford Mustangs work their way under the city of Cape Town and Wingfield Motors Bridge. Heading into turn number 1, the lights are off and away they go. It's hammer time as they race it down into turn number 1. Then it's Marcel Angel. There's a couple of lockups going there into turn number 1. But it's Marcel Angel that comes through. Sean Moore is in 2nd place. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a car in trouble. Francois in turn number 1 already. Out of Interceptor Corner, and it is Marcel Angel from Sean Moore in that second position. Mark Ridgway is in that third place as they work their way through turn number 4. Out of turn 4, Malmesbury down the back main. It is Angel, it is Moore, Ridgway. Then behind them, it is Roy Campos. Barry Ingle is in there as well. He's been hassled there as they race down into turn number 5. Let's just have a look, see who's in there behind him. It is Colnell that is in there behind him as they work their way through turn number 5 out of Pertamina Fostron.
Well, Stuart Spooner back on the circuit with his APV. But leading out there now, oh, and massive smoke going down into 5. Some big smoke going into 5. They'll post all these things at the moment, but in the supercars, we have a good inside from Rico Bala, Glenn Phillips, Tim Damon's in there as well, then Rainer Penshoff and as well, Moffat also not on the circuit. Humes in there, and then Brooks, Thompson, and then Spooner.
Yeah, and where are those supercars trying to pick them up? They should be making their way through.
Oh, Frankie, look here on the outside, going outside of Quarry. We've got Sean Moore up on the inside of Marcel Angel, going down into Scepter. That one is going to bode quite exciting later on.
Yeah, well, let's stick with that one as the V8s go up the Tigerberg Straight now towards turn number 4. Into turn 4, Malmesbury they go now, and these guys are absolutely nose to tail on the gloom of your screen. Down the back main they go. Marcel Angel, Sean Moore, and Mark Ridgway. The three of them are just bombing it down that back main, and not far behind them we've got Roy Campos, and right behind Campos is the 22 of Barry Ingle.
Oh, Sean Moore sliding in the back end in front of Marcel Angel. Angel taps him and Ridgway's there with him. It's getting very exciting. These guys are really on the ragged edge, but Sean Moore takes the lead, and he's going to pick up a slow car. It's a supercar getting a big flag there. He's going to have to hold his line and going down his outside there, Sean Moore. I see Sean Moore.
Well, keep an eye on the supercars that are going into turn number 2. 4 of them nose to tail, and are about to be caught by your overall V8 master leaders as you see them on screen into turn number 2. Now Damon is going to be, and there's problems. Was he tapped? Did he lose it on his own, or was he tapped there by Sean Moore, the leading group, so to speak, or basically second and third in the supercars going into turn 4, is being overtaken now by your race leaders in the V8s. Now they're going to have to keep out the way, because here comes, look how quick these things are. Down, they dissect these supercars down the back main, Francois, as the leading trio of V8s have now overtaken the leading group of the Keltron Formula supercars.
Unfortunately, the blue flag's waving. It's unsettling the supercars, but these V8s come thundering through. Neandertoid up the main straight under the Porsche bridge here. Here's Sean Moore up alongside Marcel Angel is Mark Ridgway. They make their way down towards turn number 1. And Ridgway squeezes through on Angel. He won't be too happy about that. They dive in front of Neandertoid. Neandertoid very accustomed to that kind of racing. But keep an eye on Mark Ridgway. He's now trying to chase down Sean Moore. Moore leads out up into Quarry. And Marcel Angel looking to go on the outside of Mark Ridgway. It's not the right place to be on that circuit. A little bit of dirty stuff there. A little bit of rubbing his racing there from Marcel Angel as he nudges the back end there of Ridgway. But Ridgway not too worried about that as Sean Moore still leads up.
Is the Campos Transport outfit, number 29 of Roy Campos, as those first 4 cars work their way out of turn 5 out of Fostron.
Marcel running a little bit wide and losing touch there with Mark Ridgway, and that brings Roy Campos right into it. So Roy Campos is now up behind Marcel Angel, and he's going to hone in and miss a lock on the back of that car, and he'll try and drop him down towards turn number 1. And into holes they go, and Roy comes right up there behind Marcel Angel. Campos Transport, orange and black car. He's got his foot firmly stuck in the corner of the floorboard. He's pressing hard to rally Marcel. Still it's right, Sean Moore coming towards the line. Looks like he's done enough. He punches the air outside the car. He says, I hit it. Mark Ridgway in second. Marcel Angel just gets ahead there of Roy Campos.
Right, here they come out of turn 5 to the kink under the City of Cape Town Bridge. Big thanks to Pirelli and to Keltron. We're about to go green shortly. Listen to that sound of V8 power as the drivers drop the hammers and off they go. as they work their way down into turn number 1. Watcher Marcel Angel. He wants to go straight through the middle. There's a couple of lockups as they exit turn number 1, but it's all about that man up front. And it is Barry Ingle that leads him out at turn number 1. Ingle sitting out there in P1 with Marcel Angel in second. Then it's Carl Nell in third, followed there by Sean Moore, and Roy Campos is trying to muscle his way through, and Campos is all over the place. Campos almost lost the position here. Here comes Menno Parsons. Parsons coming through as well, and there's trouble out there. One of them was Gary Thompson, and I'm not sure the other one was. It might be Mark Ridgway. They're using the whole of Killarney International Track and more, as lap number 1 is in the bag, as they race up the main straight, the Porsche straight, into turn number 1, and Marcel Angel sits there on the outside of Barry Ingle. He does the out in there on Ingle, but Ingle holds coming out at turn number 1. Sean Moore is in that third position, followed there by Carl Nell, and then it's the Campos transport outfit of Roy Campos. Right behind him is Menno Parsons. Parsons needs a silver class. Oh, there's a big lockup. This is not going to work. This is not going to work.
It is still Neil the Toy that leads by quite a distance over there, but then Glenn Phillips will be having his mirrors through of Rico Barlow at this time now. The gap between the two of them, only 6/10 of a second. Then Damon will be a little bit down. Yassine Damon and Craig Hume will do the 15th and 16th places, 5th and 6th in class, or 5th and 6th in class. And then we had, of course, the 39 of Moffat and Pence, but yes, we'll catch up with them fairly shortly as the V8s come to complete another lap. There's 6 laps left to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, have a look at these guys. Nobody told them that this is V8s. They race these things like GTI Challenge Class C cars, that's for sure. As they make them, oh, and somebody's gone. Sean Moore's gone. He done a complete 360 between turn 1 and turn 2. Somehow, someway he saved that car, and he has not he's lost a couple of positions, but he's right on the back end of that leading group of cars that's now making their way through turn number 3. Then it is Menno Parsons. He's got Jason Ibbotson right there with him, and then a recovering Sean Moore. That's Barry Ingle, and he's been hunted down there by the Waterhouse Angel car, number 14 of Marcel Angel. Out of turn 2 they come now. Then Roy Campos sits in third. Right behind him is Carl Nell. Then behind Nell is a Sean Moore, and he has got Menno Parsons right in there behind him as they head down into Interceptor corner into turn number 2. The two leaders are heading now in the V8s through turn number 3. That's Barry Ingle, Interceptor corner. Barry Ingle, and right behind him is Marcel Angel working the way up the Tygerberg Straight towards turn number 4. They've been chased down here by Roy Campos. Campos has got Carl Nell and Sean Moore right there with them, as they are now firmly in between some of those supercars. And then right behind that lot you see the leader of Class B, that's a 69 of Menno Parsons, that's also working his way through as the leaders work their way out of Pertamina Fostron turn 5.
Well, there was a challenge now from Glenn Phillips. We go towards now the Joubert Straight and turn 2 for the Rico Barlow entry of the Formula Supercars. Here comes Yassine Damon.
Wow, that's a big one there. We just missed that one. Sorry, Roy Campos was involved in a situation there coming out of turn number 1. I didn't quite see it, but Campos has now dropped all the way down, and he sits there behind Menno Parsons. Well, they've got the two leaders going down the back main. Those front-running supercars on the last lap heading into turn 5 has been overtaken there by our two leaders. And look at Marcel Angel. He is right on the back bumper there of Barry Ingle. Okay. As they work their way, the checkered flag is waiting for them as they come down to the line. That's going to be Barry Ingle. Barry Ingle comes home in P1. Marcel Angel will finish there.
Scott will guide them around. They're going to have to clean up the circuit a little bit. On the outside there is Colnell. He'll be leading out. Up alongside him is Mark Ridgway. They come up, they cross the line, the lights go out, and bang, the metal hits the floor. They make their way down towards turn number 1. Up on the inside is Nell. They're working all pretty sort of line astern stuff. Up on the outside there's Menno Parsons. He's trying to get his way through there. getting an inside line, but I tell you what, Carnell dropping the hammer hard and getting it down into Quarry.
Well, he's the only man that's made a bit of a break for himself. Everybody else almost 2 by 2 as they work their way down into turn number 2. A fair amount of action on the exit of turn 2 so far today. I think because of the oval track racing, there's normally more rubber there than what there is anywhere else. And with the rain, the biggest difference on any of the corners was probably that one. Slight lock up there. I think it was Ibbotson as they went into Interceptor corner.
There was Menno Parsons sitting up behind Roy Campos, but now they make their way through. Malmesbury sweep, double right-hander. Briarfire's going and they work their way down. Colnell on the gas, up behind him there, Mark Ridgway getting the hammer down. Then it's Jason Ibbotson, and sitting right up behind him is Roy Campos. Campos trying to draft Ibbotson. Ibbotson goes defensive, stays up on the inside. Campos trying to go up around the outside. He goes high and wide and gets a good bit of drive there. He's ahead of Ibbotson. If he can, possibly he'll come out in third position, and he does so. The Campos transport car moves up to P3.
Sean Moore in there behind him. Sean Moore coming off the tail end of the field with a 23 car up into 5th.
Oh, keep an eye there, Mark Ridgway. He's starting to pester Colnell at the front end there, and not too far behind him, Roy Campos getting on the gas now, pulling away from Ibbotson. Up behind Jason Ibbotson is that man, Sean Moore, one of the quickest in the V8 class. He wants to work his way through. He sits in P5. They're in Inceptor corner. Mark Ridgway now starting to pester Colnell. He has a look up on the inside to the King. Nell sways across his bow and says to him, "No, I'm going to keep you honest just for a couple of seconds." And through Interceptor corner, make their way up the Tygerberg straight up towards Malmesbury sweep. You'll come in there, you'll just sort of lift off the throttle, and then you bang it through the double apex and you work your way down. There you see on screen coming down the back straight there, Colnell leading out, Mark Ridgway, Roy Campos, Sean Moore and Jason Ibbotson, line astern, all high speed, and Moore has a look up on the inside of Campos going down. Is he going to make it stick? Campos won't stand in his way, and Moore moves up to third, and Ridgway sits right up behind Nell.
Remember, the previous passing maneuver by Sean Moore was around the outside of the turn 5 Cape Town corner, but the pressure's on for Mark Ridgway, because he's got the 2 frequent flyers coming in there behind him in the form of Rui Campos and Sean Moore. He then in response to that has a look up on the inside line on Nell. Well, he had to turn it in very, very tight. If Nell can hold, he will be on the inside where he needs to be. Nell had to back out of the gas. The line wasn't right. He slowed off as he came out of the corner. So Colnell drops down to second. He's very late on the brakes, and that, as a response to Sean Moore, Rui Campos goes flying into turn 2, and now the pressure taken away from Mark Ridgway, and as he now heads them out, he's now got Colnell. There's a bit of a buffer between the 2 quickest cars out there, being Sean Moore and Rui Campos.
Colnell, he's going to try and get close. He loves turn 5. He gets close. Colnell goes defensive up on the inside. Moore goes and has a look around the outside. Campos sees a door open. Can he stick his nose in? No, he doesn't. He affords Moore a bit of operating space now as they come out of turn 5. Oh, it's close. And who's gone off? It's Ridgway. Ridgway goes into the tyres. So Colnell on the outside. They're pretty close. Colnell right up on the back end there of Sean Moore. Gary, too exciting for my nerves.
Well, Jason Ibbotson decides that it was a 4-way battle. One has disappeared, so all I can do now is I can then recover that front group of 4, make it back into... Oh! Hammer into the back of Mark Ridgway, and spins it twice around. Luckily gets missed by Ibbotson. Well, we did say we have lots of action here today, but whoa! On the last lap that he did a 1:17.47, so he's got it to the front. He's now just lifted off a little bit, make it a little bit smoother, make the tires last, don't overcook them. He's done a brilliant job to get himself away from Rui Campos. Now Campos is starting to turn the wick up a 17.3, and yeah, that's why, because the red flags have come out. They've said nope, this is...
They work their way under the City of Cape Town Bridge. A big thanks to the City of Cape Town. The lights in pit lane will go off now, and away they go. This is V8 power on a track that is a little bit suspect at this point in time, but not that bad, as they head into turn number 1. And it's Sean Moore, Roy Campos coming out pretty wide out of turn number 1. Jason Ibbotson is there in that third position. Menno Parsons is right in there behind him. And here comes Colnell. Colnell has got the hammer down. He races past Gary Thompson. Now sits on the outside there of Menno Parsons as they work. Oh, going very wide into turn number 2. That is Mark Ridgway. And he is there right with a 7-0 of Isak Spies.
Yeah, going quite wide there in turn 2 was Roy Campos, but gets well and back on track there as they go through Interceptor corner, turn 3 now. And onto the Tygerberg straight. Ibbotson holding that 3rd position, or actually 4th position I should rather say now, losing out at the start of this race. They go onto the back straight now and run it down there. So Roy Campos is going to be under immense pressure now. I think it's Menno Parsons, the number 69, 64 car of Carl Now rather. Very good start from Carl Now, I have to say.
Yeah, Carl sitting there in that 3rd position. They'll just gingerly tiptoe their way around the opening lap as they exit turn 5. Out of Fastron corner they come now. Heading down towards us. It's Moore that sits out there in P1. Campos 2nd. Nel sits there in that 3rd position.
It's much closer, half a second the last time around. They're going through Pertamina Fastron turn 5 at the moment now, and now it looks like Roy Campos is actually pressuring Sean Moore at the moment, and he was about half a second faster on the previous lap. Watch them as they come around now. Over the line they'll then run. Sean Moore comes across the line. Fastest lap for Roy Campos, and only 0.2 of a second across the line as they go. Carl now 9/10 further back. And now side by side, Frankie, sorry there, it looks like Roy Campos out of turn 1, you'll see now, will take the lead of this race.
Yeah, he's the quickest man out there with a 1 minute 25.905 on the last lap. He's now the leader heading into turn 2. He's the Campos Transport V8 of Roy Campos. He goes very wide and very deep into turn number 2, and he might just lose that lead again to Sean Moore, but no, he doesn't. He hangs on to that lead through the kink there. Moore in that 2nd position. Carl Nell there in 3rd. They're getting away now.
So, closer is Sean Moore, but not quite close enough, I can tell you that much, as they rocket out of turn 2, and Carl now seems to have lost a bit of ground to them, 1.1 seconds further back now.
In the way into Fastron corner, turn 5, through the Fastron that come now with a lap left. Nell's going to have to settle for that 3rd position unless something goes wrong ahead of him, because the 2 of them are right on each other's cases as they race under the City of Cape Town Bridge. Across the line they go now, and on their final lap, and still the quickest man out there with a 125.905 is the man in car 29, Roy Campos. Through the kink they go. They have got a half a lap left now as they work their way into turn number 3. Through Interceptor corner, turn 3 they come now. Nell will have to, as I said, settle for that 3rd position. He's not close enough to Campos and to Moore as the 2 of them make their way through turn number 4. Through turn 4, Malmesbury sweep they go. Racing down the back main. Byron ending off Sector 3, I'll tell you now, the ending of Sector 2 now when they start Sector 3, the final sector, as they race down towards Fastron corner, turn 5.
Well, he's going to take a look on the inside, he's going to take a look on the outside, but he keeps himself defensive there, does Roy Campos. It's been a valiant effort here from Sean Moore. I think what happens is this race is already won. I don't want to speak too soon. Yeah, they come down the straight now. Well, it's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be that close. And they come to the line, and it's going to be Roy Campos that will take the victory. Of this, of course, Power Series race for today. Here we go. And towards the line, 3 abreast already, Frankie, going towards turn 1.
Yeah, and Sean Moore had that car completely out of shape. Oh, there's drama going into turn 1, and that's Richard Schroeder. And he gets collected there by Dennis Haiduk. So already 2 cars in trouble in turn number 1. Now leading them out of 5, out of Fastron. He's got Sean Moore tucked in there behind him. There is a little bit of rain, but really not much to talk about and to mention as they head under the City of Cape Town Bridge. It is Nell that is in P1. It is Moore that is in 2nd position. And I see the safety car board being deployed here, or being shown here at the start-finish line.
9, but Schroeder and Gaiduk, here's the replay, Frankie, and losing the back end there as they go into turn 1 was Richard Schroeder, and he made contact. The line right now, remember, like Frankie you said, yellow flags will be waving in the section where that APV number 4 is of Richard Schroeder. The whole rear suspension on the left-hand side being destroyed over there as well. And yeah, they come right through already side by side, Frankie. They're not really supposed to do that. No passing under yellow flags.
Oh, losing the tail end there out of turn number 1. That is Sean Moore. Sean Moore loses the tail end, so These are effectively your two leaders, or should I say Nell is in P1, Moore is in second position. The car between Nell and Moore, you see on screen, that is a Campos, and he is at least 1 lap down. So your leader going down the back main for the final time. The checkered flag is being readied here on the start-finish line, and that is that 64 car of Carl Nell working his way down the back straight. A lot of yellow flags out all over the place. Nell making his way into turn number 5 through Fostron corner. Carl Nell comes. He does have Ibbotson in front of him, but Ibbotson is effectively in third position. And behind him is the leader coming towards us. He'll take the victory. Carl Nell in the 64 car will bring it home in P1.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very pretty, whatever it was.
Now we wait for the lights to go out. It's an 8-lap race that lies ahead. And they roll it to the line now, and the lights will go out about this time. And away we go for the start of this race. You watch them down to turn 1, all 6 of them there. But it looks like, yes, the corner advantage, of course, will go to that Carl Nell machine. And falling into position will be the green and black Sean Moore car. Ibbotson holding third at this time. And then the number 17 there of Gary Thompson ahead of Roy Campos. So Roy Campos has fallen to the back of the field here.
Campos is having a go there, Gary Thompson, as they work their way up the Tiger Straight. Level it out there at turn number 4. Down the back main they go, but the fight for the lead is still very much on here. And they are side by side down the back main. And it looks like it is Sean Moore, but sitting right there on his outside is Nell, but it's Moore that gets his nose up into P1.
Yeah, he'll push it ahead there, Frankie. Now they'll come out of Pertamina Fastron onto the straight. They'll then run. But on the inside goes Carl Nell, but he's not close enough in turn 1. And, well, Moore will still keep the nose ahead for now.
Through turn 4 they come now. That is a Malmesbury sweep. On the gas, down the back main they go. And it's a lovely fight here between the 73 and the 64 of Sean Moore and Carl Nell. As they head down the back main, Nell dives up onto the inside. And if they bog each other down, that will bring the 46 of Jason Ibbotson back into play, as Ibbotson is getting closer and closer to the combination of Moore and Nell. Into a turn number 4. Ibbotson still out there in that third position, and not too far behind him, looming there in his shadows, is the 29 of Roy Campos as they head down the back straight to Byron towards Fostron corner, turn 5.
Well, Roy Campos has taken now 0.3 of a second on the last lap out of Jason Ibbotson. So he's turning up the wick just a little bit more, 0.3. He's going to have to go a bit quicker even than that as well. One more lap left to go, Frankie. That is the battle to watch between Ibbotson in third place and Campos in fourth place. They cross the line, 0.7 of a second between the two of them. They're onto the Joubert straight now.
Yeah, making their way into turn number 2. We've got to keep an eye on this fight for P3 and 4. That is car 29 chasing down car 46. And that's Roy Campos up on the inside, and into third position goes Roy Campos, taking that position away there from Jason Ibbotson.
Just shows you how much quicker he is, Frankie. Yeah, he just starts leaping away from him. He gets a bit closer again in turn 3. Interceptor corner does Ibbotson, but I think what happens is he's going to have to be content with fourth place today. A great drive here from Roy Campos.
The man that sits out there in P1, the checkered flag is ready to greet him as he runs under the City of Cape Town Bridge, and victory belongs to car 73, Sean Moore.
Well, we're coming up to the line now. There are 6 lights, 5 ahead of them, 1 to the right-hand side, and away we go now. Let's run it, of course. Fabio Tafani on the outside, on the inside there is the pole sitter. And it looks like all filtering into turn 1 over there. Fabio Tafani in second position. He's held that position for now. Sean Moore looks like he's kept it ahead. Is that Roy Campos right behind there in third position? Look at that number 77 of Barry Ingle coming around the outside there, looks like it, but Roy Campos will just take him there as they come out of turn 2. And there's that black V8 alongside there. I didn't pick up a number as they go into turn 3, Frankie.
In that second position, that is Raw V8s down the back main. Then it's Roy Campos that's there in that third position, been chased down there by Mark Ridgway. Then it is Barry Ingle that's coming up there, and it looks as if it's Alistair Brown that's just in there behind him, and then followed there by Carl Nell. Out of Malmesbury sweep they come now, down the back main. On the gas, down the back main, it is Sean Moore from Fabio Tafani, from Roy Campos, from Mark Ridgway. Then it is Ingle and Brown, chased there by Nell. Then it's Vogip, then it is Brooks, then it is Menno Parsons. Down the back main they go.
Well, Sean Moore and Fabio Tafani were 4/10 of a second between the two of them. Fabio Tafani it shows him in the lead, but that's not quite correct. It is still going to be the man, that's Sean Moore, that's leading. But look at the lap times between them. A 1:16.841 from Fabio Tafani. That's the fastest lap. A 10th of a second faster than the 1:16.938 of Sean Moore. They crossed the line a 3/10 of a second between the two of them. They're leaving Roy Campos slightly behind over there, 1.3 seconds further back. Then Mark Ridgway, 1.9 seconds, as Barry Ingle just holds it ahead now of Alistair Brown in that battle for 5th and 6th positions.
So the leaders are now making their way into turn number 2, into Quarry Corner. And this is just plain raw V8 that is blasting its way around Killarney International Raceway. And it is a Sean Moore from Fabio Tafani, from Roy Campos, from Mark Ridgway. That's the first 4 cars that is making their way now through the kink into turn number 3, into Interceptor Corner. Not far behind them is Barry Ingle. Behind Barry Ingle is Alistair Brown, and right on his case is Carl Nell.
4 and a bit laps left to go, and only 11 of them left in the race. Gary Thompson rounds it all off, 7.1 seconds back of Menno Parsons. Menno Parsons 1.2 seconds off of Mike Brooks. Mark Vogt, he's the one that's climbing up the field here in that silver class car.
Problems. That is Ridgway. That is the 53 car of Mark Ridgway that's had problems on the exit of turn 5. Heading now towards turn number 4. There's a fight for first and second. It's very close here between Sean Moore and Fabio Tafani. Out of the double right-hander, turn 4. Down the back main they go. Then here comes Tafani. Tafani's crowd in the back end there of Moore as they make their way down the back main. Moore is on the outside. Tafani dives up on the inside. They're nearly side by side, but it's Sean Moore that dives across the bars there, and they are side by side. And now the inside line belongs to Tafani. They are still side by side. Now the inside line belongs to Moore. Down the main straight they go into turn number 1, and it's Sean Moore that just muscles his nose ahead there of Fabio Tafani into turn number 1, but Tafani's got the line. Tafani's got the line for turn 1. They are side by side out of turn number 1, and the line for turn 2 will belong to Sean Moore, and Tafani squeezes him. Tafani squeezes him, and Sean Moore says, I'll have none of this, as they make their way out of turn 2, and Moore's held, but Byron, with all this happening, look is right on their case now in 3rd position. Campos is joining this fight.
Oh, really tense racing here as they go through turn 3. Like you said, Frankie, Roy Campos could be the opportunist here. He's closed up the gap. When they crossed the line, he was 1.4 seconds off of Tafani. He's certainly closed the gap and has almost caught up to them completely. Here they come out of turn 4 now. Nose to tail onto the dust is Tafani, and that's going to make him lose out a little bit as they go down the main straight. Now Roy Campos closes up now. He should be able to go onto the inside of Fabio Tafani, but he'll keep the nose right ahead Tafani. He'll hold it there for now. Remember, they get across the line. 2 more laps left to go, Frankie, as they rocket it down here.
As they exit the turn number 2, then right behind them, here's another right royal fight going on out of turn number 2, and it's Barry Ingle, and right on his case is Carl Nell. Nell has got his nose ahead there of Brown. That's dropped right down, and he is just ahead there of Brooks, and behind Brooks is Menno Parsons, and behind Menno Parsons is Mark Vogt, and then catching up to them into turn 3 is Mark Ridgway.
Barry Ingle and Cole now down the back straight as well, and that could now be something happening. Here comes our leaders now. Sean Moore will cross the line. He was 0.8 of a second the last time out. He should now be half a second between himself and Fabio Tafani. Onto the Tygerberg straight we run now, Frankie, into the double apex right-handed Malmesbury sweep. Look at them go onto the back straight. I think he might just have this sewn up, Sean Moore. I don't think Fabio Tafani is close enough. Down the back straight as we go, as a car has gone off the circuit and into the dust.
Menno Parsons. Yeah, that's Menno Parsons.
Oh, that puts to paid his chances against Mark Vogt. Mark Vogt was the man he was battling against. But look now, as they run along, it's going to be Sean Moore that will take the victory in race 1 from Fabio Tafani after a magnificent battle. Then Roy Campos will get 3rd position.
You had to enjoy the racing for what could be the end of your career. Today could be your last race day, but I won't hold it against you if we see you on the start line again next year.
It's been a long time. It's been a long journey. I've been racing since '82. Most of these guys driving with me, I'm like 25 years older than them. And I'm battling to stay on the front anymore, so I think it's time I must hang up the gloves. But the old guys, rear-wheel drive, the steering sits in your back. The tighter you belt it to the seat, the more exciting and the more you feel the track. And that you can't get out of an old man.
Richard Schroeder, we look forward to a great race day today and maybe many more, I don't know.
Right, so the Kia pulls to the right, the lights go off, and Sean Moore, he holds sway there on the front alongside him. Fabio Tafani ready to pounce. So you can get the whole shot. They cross the red line. Once they wait for the red lights to go off, the lights off and away they go. Moore gets his foot down and make their way down towards turn number 1. Cole Nell wants to stick his nose up there alongside Fabio Tafani. Tafani's all there and someone goes off.
That's Nell.
Cole Nell.
Yeah, that's Cole Nell that spins it there going into turn number 1. Has he stuck that thing in the sand? I hope not, otherwise that could be the end of it. No, he's going to get going. He'll drop to the tail end of the field, but at least he's back in it again. So at the exit of turn number 2, it is Sean Moore from Fabio Tafani, from Barry Ingle and Mark Ridgway. So they're going down the back straight now towards turn number 5, towards a Fostron corner, and we're going to have a challenge for the lead. Going into turn number 5, it is Tafani, but it is Sean Moore that says, hang on, I'm going to hold here for a while. The line does belong there to Tafani, but it is still side by side, and it is Sean Moore that holds on to that lead as they cross the line to start another lap. Tafani, will he dive up on the inside? Yes, he does. Will he be late on the brakes as side by side into one? Those things squirm under their right foot, and on the exit of turn number 1, it is Fabio Tafani that hits the lead.
Well, Tafani immediately goes defensive up on the inside of the circuit. He keeps Moore behind him. Moore will try and out with him. Sean Moore goes around his outside. Moore's got the confidence. He's looking for a switchback, but Tafani's wise to the wind. He holds the door firmly closed there in Sean Moore's face. A little bit further back, Mark Ridgway, Barry Ingle. Ingle's fighting there with Alistair Brown. A little bit further back, Richard Schroeder, Mike Brooks, Stuart Spooner, Menno Parsons. Then up behind them, it's Brian Evans.
And it is Fabio Tafani from Sean Moore. A bit of a gap before we see Mark Ridgway, and Ridgway's getting away from Barry Ingle. Barry Ingle's having that fight there with Alistair Brown, and Brown is right under that wing of the 77 car of Barry Ingle as they work their way out of turn 5, out of Fostron corner. They climb on the gas, but keep an eye on that one as they work their way under the City of Cape Town Bridge. And
Tafani has a moment going into one. That car broadsides, he manages to collect it, and Sean Moore had to back off, otherwise he might have had a bit of a clatter with the car.
And they're making their way now out of turn 4. It is Brooks and Schroeder that's going down the back main. And then they've got Gary Thompson right there with them, followed there by Menno Parsons as they work their way down into turn number 5. And then Brian Evans is having a fight there with Carl Nell as the two of them head down into turn 5 into Fostron corner, followed there by Mark Vogt. So there's one more lap for all of them to do as Fabio Tafani makes his way under the City of Cape Town Bridge to start his final lap. And right in there behind him is Sean Moore coming around as well, together with Mark Ridgway, all on their last lap. Barry Ingle starts his final lap, so does Alistair Brown, and so does Richard Schroeder, and then Mike Brooks as well, together with Menno Parsons, Stuart Spooner, Carl Nell, all coming through to start their last lap.
Showing his prowess, he's the champion, so he makes his way up over the line. Sean Moore will be second. Checkered flag time. Tafani takes seat number 2. Sean Moore will come through. Mark Ridgway worked his way back to third. He did wonderfully well there. And this dice that we've been having between Barry Ingle and Alistair Brown. Barry Ingle getting the upper hand over Alistair Brown there, followed by Richard Schroeder. Then behind him we'll see Mike Brooks work his way through. Menno Parsons up behind him. And then we have Stuart Spooner. And behind Spooner we have Carl Nell.